Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining our presentation today in our virtual booth. My name is Andy Cox, and I am the chair of Smoke Free Indy, as well as the tobacco health educator at the Marion County Public Health Department. And we're here to present on quitting with pride. Let's rewrite the story of tobacco use in the LGBTQ plus community. I'll go over a short presentation, and then the rest of our partners will lead you all in a really fun Kahoot game, and you guys will have a chance to win some really fun prizes. So first off, who is Smoke Free Indy? So Smoke Free Indy is a local community-based coalition working to decrease tobacco use and secondhand smoke exposure in Marion County. We love to do all kinds of fun events. You can see us at Pet Pride in 2019. We were obviously sad, just like the rest of you, when we weren't allowed to have Pride in 2020, but we're super excited to be back in virtual Pride this year and can't wait to do some more things with Indy Pride throughout the year of 2021. So first, to get started, we'd like to set the tone. This is a safe and respectful place. Any questions you have, any experiences you want to share, we want to make sure that you feel safe and heard. We'd like to respect others when they're sharing and asking questions as well. All are welcome, no matter your experience with commercial tobacco. We're not here to shame anyone or blame anyone for choices that they've made with tobacco or are currently still making with tobacco. It is hard to quit, and we understand that. And we don't want to, again, like I said, shame anybody for the experiences that they've themselves had with commercial tobacco. The discussion definitely does not stop here. This is a really quick, overview presentation. So if you'd like to learn anything else, we'll have our contact information at the end of the presentation. So please feel free to reach out to us if you need any more help or assistance. And then finally, tobacco is a complex issue with many intersections and layers. Like I said, we know that people of all walks of life interact with tobacco in many different ways. And we want to make sure that even though we're only here for a short amount of time, that everybody knows that we know as well that there is a lot to tobacco. It's not just as simple as quitting as maybe some people might like to think. To start off with, I want to give a little respect to the history of traditional tobacco. There is a difference between traditional and commercial tobacco, and today we will only be referencing commercial tobacco. We are in the throes of trying to change our language, so if you do hear us just refer to it as tobacco really quickly, we want to make sure that everybody knows that we are referencing commercial tobacco. So traditional tobacco has been used by American Indian nations for centuries as medicine, with cultural and spiritual importance. Many tribes maintain these teaching and stories of the origin of tobacco, and they generally address tobacco in the purest form. So that's like that picture at the bottom in that bowl with the tobacco plant, and it may also include a mixture of other native plants, berries, and such. Traditional tobacco preparation and use varies across tribes and regions, with Alaska Natives not commonly using traditional tobacco. We also know that these variances are due to the many different teachings and tribes in North America. So we want to just make sure that we pay honor and respect to that. And then the definition of commercial tobacco is that commercial tobacco is manufactured by companies for recreational and habitual use. So this is like cigarettes, smokeless tobacco, pipe cigars, e-hookahs, and other products. Commercial tobacco is mass produced and sold for profit. What we'll discuss today, we'll just go over a little bit of general tobacco information, and then the main portion of our presentation will be about tobacco marketing within the LGBTQ plus population, as well as actions you can take to take back the community's health. So we'll get into a little bit of general commercial tobacco info. I've got this really great graph up here. It does not list the traditional lit tobacco products. So that would include cigarettes, cigars, cigarillos, anything like that that actually uses like a lighter or something to use that tobacco or nicotine products. But this is a really great way to show kind of the breakdown of the different types of tobacco that exist out there. In that first left corner, we've got pure nicotine-based products that are heated or aerosolized. So this might be what you may know as vapes or e-cigarettes. They can look just like the traditional e-cigarette. They can look like the most popular e-cigarette on the market right now, the Juul, which looks like a USB. There's also e-hookahs and pipes and cigars. And then next to that, we've got a tobacco-based products that are heat not burn. So they do have tobacco in them. They're not nicotine-based, and they are used really similarly so that they are aerosolized as well. And then we also have oral products. So we've got oral products that are nicotine based and unheated, like snus or these little nicotine strips, and they purely are for nicotine. And then smokeless tobacco. This includes a tobacco product as well as the nicotine in the tobacco, and they're unheated as well. So, like chew is listed in this category. And just some really quick data. We don't want to harp on this issue or whatever, but just some rates of use within the LGBT population in Indiana. Like I said, we don't want to shame anyone or make or talk about these numbers in a way that make people feel like there's blame or singled out. We really just want to kind of paint a picture of why, focusing on helping the LGBTQ plus population find resources to quit tobacco if they're ready, why this is an important thing. And it is important because the numbers are pretty high. So, age wise, the majority of individuals who are using or smoke cigarettes, are between the ages of 18 and 54 in the LGBT population. You can see where those numbers are listed about 33% and then 36%. And then the graph at the bottom is the percentage of Indian adults who identify as LGBT, who use other tobacco products. That's similar to the slide before, those other tobacco products. So 43% reported ever using an e-cigarette, 11% currently use e-cigarettes, and about 8% currently use smokeless tobacco. So now we'll talk about, I think, the little bit more interesting parts of our jobs, and that is commercial tobacco marketing. So to give a little bit of a history of marketing in the LGBTQ plus population, tobacco companies have targeted the LGBTQ plus community since at least 1991. They started off in corporate philanthropy to AIDS research, and then in the early 90s, Red Camels actually came out with a marketing plan, and it was called Project Scum. So you can imagine how that made individuals feel, but it stands for the subculture urban marketing. And within this marketing plan, they were looking for ways to market their products better, and they found subcultures within the main culture. And this was mostly in San Francisco. And the two populations that they decided to focus on the most were gay men and the homeless population. They realized how much they were using these products, and so they knew that if they could get into their neighborhoods and do some more targeted marketing, they could increase their sales. So you can see how some of these marketing projects and then the marketing actually that is put into place in these neighborhoods, how it can really influence different types of individuals to use products. They also utilize gay press to advertise and community outreach through bar nights and pride events. And you can even see now some pride events, they're getting more and more away from taking money from tobacco because it's becoming more known um, how terrible it is really that these companies are marketing in the community. They're really taking advantage of their power by doing so. A lot of the times, LGBTQ plus communities or other communities as well that tobacco does this in, the Black community, Hispanic communities, those looking for mental health resources, they find communities that are often marginalized, that don't feel seen or heard, and they make them feel special in some kind of way. They use the right kind of language. They make them feel like their products are for them. And so it's really understandable that, gay bars or pride events were using money from these companies because not only were they, marketing products to them and for them, but they were also giving money to a community that oftentimes needed it. So on the left, you can see some ads that Camel and then American Spirit created. You can see how they use language like freedom. They talk about freedom to marry or marching and rallying and partying. They're really using the right kind of language. The marketing teams definitely knew what they were doing when they started out marketing specifically into different populations. So what does that look like today? That we're going to talk about point of sale marketing. So point of sale is exactly what it sounds like. It means the type of marketing that is directly where you will buy a product. And we're talking about tobacco specifically. So you might see promotional ads while you're there. You might see products placed in a certain spot. You might see advertising on the windows, at the gas pumps, inside. This is called point of sale marketing. And where do we see this? Oftentimes we see this in gas stations, in convenience stores, and dollar stores, liquor stores, and vape shops, as well as some grocery stores that do sell tobacco as well. And why is point of sale marketing used by Big Tobacco? Three main reasons. One, they know that youth will listen to them. And they also know that they need youth to get addicted in order to keep a population addicted to their products. We know that tobacco is not healthy for you, and they need to make sure that they have individuals using their products for life, or else they won't make money. Secondly, they know that it also makes it really hard to quit. So as you can imagine, somebody who's trying to quit tobacco and they go into, their local gas station to grab a drink or a snack or pay for gas, or even, pick up things like necessities, like milk or eggs. They're inundated with this kind of marketing, but they're also trying to quit. So we know that them seeing those advertising and different marketing tactics actually make it really hard for them to go in there and not um, listen to a craving or find a reason why they might want to pick up a product because, like I've said, and like we'll continue to say, tobacco is a serious addiction and it is not easy. And then lastly, it targets marginalized groups. So, like I said, they know that this marketing makes groups that are typically marginalized by our mainstream culture, and it makes them feel like their products are for them and by them, and it creates another, area where they can make money. Some point of sale examples that we've got up on the screen. Some of them might be a little hard to see, but I'll talk through them. So on this left picture, we've got tobacco right here in the bottom um, of the shelf. And then on the right, you can see candy. So you can imagine, like little kids coming in and trying to pick up candy. And then they look over and they see these fun wrappers that have got, cigarillos in them or are flavored and they look like mangoes and strawberries. Like why they might be enticed to ask about, what these products are, or maybe they see their parents or their loved ones, whoever they're with, buy these types of products. So they're placed here oftentimes on purpose. Same with the picture in the middle. You can see that there is tobacco products in this stand, and then next to it are like stuffed animals and balloons and things. So oftentimes tobacco in, convenience shops are placed right next to other products that they know people will buy. And then in that last picture on the right, we've got what we call the power wall, and is the wall behind the register. And it always has products that are placed, the products that people know the most or use the most or right at eyesight. You can see price promotions. And like I said, if you're an individual who's trying to quit, I could imagine that it's hard to ignore all of those products right in front of your face while you're just trying to pay for your gas or other things. So now that we've got like a quick grasp on what point of sale marketing is and just some of the rates and general information about tobacco, I'm going to lead you through some really easy ways to help take back your health or help your loved ones take back their health from tobacco. So one of the really fun ways that we like to spend being tobacco free or trying to quit is it being a form of self-care. We know that tobacco is not good for our bodies, but we also know that it's a social justice issue. And standing up to these companies who are purposely spending millions of dollars to target marginalized groups so that they'll use their products and they'll become addicted, and then they also end up with other, health disparities within diabetes and heart attacks and high blood pressure, all of these different issues that we say and that we can show are intertwined and intersect with each other in the other parts of our lives with access to healthcare, access to food. Fighting back against big tobacco is a social justice issue. So self-care was originally from medicine. It was promoted by the Black Panther Party in the 1970s as an essential for all Black citizens. This really helped their neighborhoods and individuals in them get access to healthcare. And activist and poet Audre Lorde actually wrote essays and journals on the topic, and most notable in her manifesto for self-care among Black women. And this is how the idea of self-care became a little bit more popular within the Black and LGBT populations. And one of her really great quotes is, "Caring for myself is not self indulgent, it's self preservation." And that is an act of political warfare. Big Tobacco wants you to believe that tobacco will help you with your anxiety, with your stress, and other issues in your life. And we just know it's not true. Chemically, we know that nicotine does not help with anxiety, does not help with stress. In fact, it makes it a lot worse. So we really want to help individuals stand up to big tobacco and quit today and use that as their form of self-care. How you can kind of get involved with Smoke Free Indie? Well, joining this presentation was one really great way. You can also follow our website at smokefreeindy.com, where you can join some of our newsletters or our coalition, or just find some really great resources. You can also follow us at Smoke Free Indie on Facebook and Instagram. We really ask for your support for tobacco prevention policies whenever there's a policy that pops up to help support protecting individuals against secondhand smoke, to please be in support of that. Become more aware of the tobacco advertising in your neighborhood the next time you're out doing a little shopping or getting gas. And lastly, and definitely most important, support your loved ones, friends, and community to be tobacco free. We really want to be here as a resource, and we really want to make sure that we're supporting a culture of support in Marion County as well. And then lastly, be a quitter. It's not always great to be called a quitter, right? But in this sense, we really want you to be a quitter. Quitting isn't easy, but doing it alone is harder. Quitting nicotine is hard. It's so hard. And we know that it is. And we want to make sure that you know that in order to quit, you might need a little bit of support, whether that's from a friend or family or using some of our resources today. You can call the 1-800-QUIT-NOW line, which is Indiana's tobacco quit line. They'll give you 4 free weeks of nicotine replacement therapy right now, as well as access to health coaches and other resources. And then there's also a couple other options, Smoke Free Text and Quit Start app. Both are not phone based, but are really great ways to get some information on how to quit. And then you can also Google or visit This Free Life. That is a campaign from the FDA specifically for the LGBTQ plus population. So if you're looking for programs specifically geared towards this community, you can definitely visit that website and it will help you. So a big thank you for joining us and for listening to me for the last 15 minutes or so. I really appreciate it. Go ahead and have some fun doing our Kahoot game. And like I said, if you need anything, please feel free to reach out.